Hi guys, Chef Wu Can here today. How are you? I hope you're enjoying the 4th of July weekend, relaxing, sitting back in your chair, and just enjoying these videos that I'm producing. Today, basically if you've been following my videos, I've covered chicken, duck, beef, shrimp, and today, as far as trying to save money, I'm going to introduce you to pork chops, boneless pork. These are the pork section. We have 4 pork steaks, boneless, and basically what you do with it, that anybody would do with it, is by shake and bake, shake it up, bake it, have it with some onions, some rice, and some vegetables. But other than that, I mean, pork is one meat that has been underutilized by a lot of Western chefs. In Japanese food, they use pork katsu. Basically, it's breaded pork chop, similar to the shake and bake. Then they have a special tonkatsu sauce that they set on top of it. But anywhere else, you don't really see it much, and I guess the desire for pork is not that great. But pork is, considering everything else compared to chicken and beef, it's very inexpensive. So I want to introduce you to a pork dish. It may not be one of the most popular dishes that you heard of or ever tried, but it's a very, very budget buster meat. And we're going to combine it with an introduction of a new vegetable. And that new vegetable is called Gai, Gai Lan, Lan. And this vegetable is translated, it's called Chinese broccoli. So we have it here. And you can basically buy this at an Asian store. Wegmans, which is predominantly the Northeast, they may carry it, which they do. In the Midwest, in the Midwest and the South, you would have to go to an Asian market to find it. But it's a very popular vegetable. Along the same lines as bok choy, this has a little bit more flavor and a little bit more nutrition. And if you can notice that there's more of the stem, and it's very leafy green. And that's one of the inherent characteristics of Gai Lan. Phonetically is G-A-I-L-A-N. And it's a very good vegetables. Western appetites may not be accustomed to it, but in the Chinese culture, it's something that you should try. It's delicious, it has a nice flavor, and it's different, okay? So we're gonna basically show you the combination of both, as well as introduce you to a chili paste. Now the brand is rabe. Now this chili paste, if you look at the ingredients, if you are considering this, get a smaller container, but the first ingredient should be more sugar. So it's sugar ground bean paste. Now, I haven't used the bean paste in a lot of the cuisines because it's very hard to find, and a lot of my viewers may not be able to know what to do with it. But basically, you use a tablespoon of this chili paste oil, some oyster sauce, about a tablespoon, a little Shaoxing wine, right? Some fresh garlic, a little sesame oil, and I say a little bit sesame oil because sesame oil is very potent, so you don't really need that much, and obviously some white pepper. All right, so again, this is an introduction to chili paste with soybean oil. And the first ingredient is sugar, so that's what I would prefer you to buy if you were considering me. All right, now, I'm not going to go into pounding of the pork. Sorry about that. But here is a tenderizer. Here's the flat end of the tenderizer. And here is the tenderizer with some cleats in it. And basically this part would be used for beef. But for pork, we'll use the flat end. And basically what you're going to do is lay each of the pork chops on a wooden chopping board. Cover it with a piece of saran wrap that covers the whole thing. And then basically pound it thin. Okay? And after you pound it thin, then you put on a plate, sprinkle on some baking soda, right? Put it in the refrigerator, allow it to sit there for like 15-20 minutes, and then rinse it off quick. Now, you may say, why using baking soda? Well, pork, as you know, is all muscle, and whenever you cook a muscle, it becomes tough. And the baking soda will break down the muscle. You may have heard of other recipes from other chefs. They leave a little bit of baking soda on in the cooking process. That may affect the flavor and the taste. So I, Chef Wu Can, take the pork that has been marinating or tenderized with the baking soda to break down the muscle, and I rinse it thoroughly. So you're eliminating that residual baking soda that may impact the flavor of the pork, and you don't want that. By rinsing it, you're rinsing it all off. Okay. So after you rinse it off, then you're basically going to cut it into nice slices. Now, as you can see, I have a little fat on it. Now, you have heard, you want to eat leaner, but you know what? The body requires lubricant, and fat does provide lubricant, as well as adding more flavor to the meat that you have, and helps in the lubrication process when you digest the food, and it makes it a little bit more tender, and helps your ankles and it lubricates your joints. Okay, so we have that here, and we'll set that aside. We have a whole bunch. Now, let's cut the Gai Lan to set aside. So, as you can see, there's numerous outgrowths of the Gai Lan. And what we want to do is basically cut the end off, cut some of the stems off. We have the stems, and we want nice pieces. Okay? And we'll set it aside. Then, with the piece of the stalk, we'll cut it at an angle. Because basically you want to have nice morsels of vegetable. You don't want it too small. You don't want it too big. You want it a nice size, bite size. Now obviously when you're cooking it, it's going to shrivel a little bit. Cut the end. Cut it at an angle. Cut in half. Okay. Now, how do we cook the vegetables? Right. Well, with this type of vegetable, with a thick stalk, it may be a little time consuming when we stir fry it. Okay? So what we're going to do is, we're going to parboil it. Let it get the initial pre-cook. Then the actual stir fry will be 1, 2, 3. So the time the stir frying, it won't take that long. But because of the way the stalk is, you have a thick piece, right? So we want to blanch it first. And once we blanch it, then the stir fry is quick and easy. Okay. Now you notice that the blade is against my knuckle, it's away from my fingers, and you cut down. All right. So here we have Gai Lan. Here we have the pork. And here we have all the ingredients that we want to use here. Well, obviously we have to work on a little bit of the ingredients because we have the garlic. As you know, Chef Wu Can is not an advocate of the garlic press. So this is how Chef Wu Can smashes the garlic. This is garlic that has been peeled. If you like to cook a lot, I would recommend buying the huge container because it's cheaper. Keep it flat and then just come down pretty hard on it. Flat, pound it. Flat, and then move it over. Okay. Then we put it together at an angle. We just chop it up. And this process basically will release the oils in the garlic. Now, I know that the stores sell the garlic that's already been ground up and it's sitting in water. My personal opinion is that you lose a little bit of the flavor. As a matter of fact, you may lose a lot of the flavor. They're just doing it from a mass production standpoint and whatever's easiest for you to use. Okay? Now, we're not going to use all the pork tonight. We're going to use it in various other dishes. So, just changing the butane. Okay. So we'll allow the propane to heat up the water. And we have our little colander. It's all bamboo. I mean, it may look ancient, but it's very practical and it's very sturdy. As a matter of fact, this is better than a lot of the modern day scoops. Okay? So as we wait, the water's cooking. We're going to call it, it's called in Cantonese chut, C-H-U-T, sui, S-U-I. Basically, it's parboiling the vegetables. And if you want me to show you too, in the restaurant, they also parboil the pork also. So we'll do that after we do the vegetables. The reason why they parboil is because in the restaurant, there's very little time to get these orders out. So that's why when you order a meal or order a dish, it's very quick. Everything is pre-blanched. All the fried stuff is pre-fried, the first fry. So basically when you order an egg roll, shrimp toast, basically they're frying it a second time because time is very important to get your order out right away. Okay, so the water's boiling. We're going to put the Gai Lan in. Now the rule for leafy vegetables is that you want the vegetables to turn an emerald green color. that is your indication that the vegetable is al dente. And al dente is the fact that it's not overcooked, which will turn putrid green, and it's not undercooked, where it's still raw. You want it right in between. You don't want it to be overcooked. American culture, we tend to overcook our vegetables, and that's why our kids and myself, we weren't really too hip on eating our vegetables because it was kind of mushy. So that's the indication with Chinese food, the emerald green color. So you got these big pieces that are cooking the first time. Then after you stir fry, it will be nice and crunchy. Now if you don't know, we can take a piece, right? And let's just, good. So, emerald green color, it's ready. Didn't take that long. And this process will help you stir fry real quick. Now, typically with this pork, I didn't marinate because I'm just adding sauce to it. And the pork really doesn't have to be marinated. With the beef and the chicken, it does. All right? Now, we'll run on cold water to stop the cooking process. You'll notice that once I take out the vegetables and I put it in a pot, it's still cooking. So if you allow it to continue cooking, it's going to definitely turn color to a putrid green color, and ultimately it's going to be well done vegetables. And we don't want that. So now we'll add some pork. So considering how much vegetable we use, we want to try to use the pork and add pork in proportion to the number of vegetables that we're using. So you don't want to use too little, you don't want to use too much. So you want a nice balance, equal balance of vegetables to meat. And to let you know, this is how the restaurants do it. Non-peak hour. Okay? I'll cook it all. You could always store it, freeze it later on. So we'll use our strainer and we'll just blanch it, make sure it's done. Now this pork will be very tender and you'll have no problems enjoying it without tearing your teeth apart. I'm going to add this. This is dark soy sauce. Although it says soy sauce, it's not really a soy sauce. What it really is adds color. Because when Chinese and Asian people eat, they want that dish to look appetizing. And sometimes when you're in the cooking process, you lose a little bit of the color. So that's why a lot of restaurants, they add some vegetables. So we have the green, some carrots, the orange, and a nice brown, rich color. That makes it very appealing. So for us to eat this good food, presentation is very, very important. Now I'm blanching it because it's pork. So we want to make sure the the pork is cooked thoroughly. If we had used this for stir fry, although our stir fry would be quick with all the sauces being added, but the pork may not be cooked. So it's always good to blanch your pork. Now, one of the secrets of the blanching process and using baking soda is that you'll notice that you'll get the texture of the chicken, the beef, like in the restaurant, because they got to do this ahead of time, and they have to get all this stuff ready so that you want something, it's done 1, 2, 3. They're not going to wait. The stir fry process is basically just adding the sauce and the thickener. That's all it is. So many of you may say, well, the chicken and the pork, they don't have that consistency. You know, it's like a different kind of consistency, and that's the reason why. So now you'll be able to make it yourself. So we'll let this cook a little bit more, and I'll be right back. Now you'll see it foaming up as it gets cooked. Don't worry about it. This is the process when the baking soda and the hot water get together. We're going to rinse it all off. Okay, so just take it, and that's an indication that the pork is done. Okay, so don't be scared. So it's a little foaming up. It'll be all rinsed out, and I'm going to rinse it right now. Okay, so what we have here is the Gai Lan, still emerald green. We took the water out, we drained it. And we have the pork that's been cooked. So when you see it foaming up like that, that tells you that's the indication that it's done. Don't get grossed out by it, it happens. I'm teaching you the short way of getting these things done in a good amount of time. All right? So now it's just a matter of putting it all together, and that's what we're going to do right now. So we're going to let the water evaporate, get the wok hot, then we'll add the oil, and it's pretty quick. So it's always a wok. Now I have the high carbon steel wok, so in terms of temperature, it doesn't really matter, it won't damage the wok. As a matter of fact, high temperature and you cooking the food will create a non-stick surface, natural non-stick surface. Now, for those that have a regular saucepan that's non-stick, I would recommend using medium, and you're never ever going to get the same flavor that you're going to get in the restaurant because they use high heat. All right, and if you use high heat on a medium saucepan on medium heat, it's going to basically kill your Teflon non-stick surface. Okay, so we'll add the oil, around 2 tablespoons. Now we'll add the garlic. We don't want to burn the garlic at all. Never ever want to burn the garlic. We want to add the pork. Now we'll add the bean paste. You don't need that much. We'll add the oyster sauce. Basically both of them is 2 tablespoons. We'll add the Shaoxing wine. We'll add the white pepper. and we'll saute, stir fry. Always stir frying, making sure all the meat is mixed in with that flavor. Okay. Now, if you look at it, there's really not much color. We want color. We want it to make it look appetizing. So we'll add some of the dark soy sauce, and we'll start off with a little, maybe a teaspoon. Now you see you get a little darker. Okay. Now we're going to save the sesame oil and the vegetables last, because sesame oil has a high flash point, so you don't want to add it that soon. The vegetables are already cooked, so you don't really need to add it to cook it, because it's already cooked already. All right. So many people may like this color. So now we'll add the vegetables. So if you want all that flavor together, which is really good, we'll add a little bit of cornstarch. And I used about a half a teaspoon, diluted with some water. Just to make sure all that flavor is combined together. Notice the vegetable still has a nice color to it. Or maybe add a little bit more, maybe another quarter teaspoon. So I used about all of the pork, which is like 4 pork cutlets in a package, and I used around 4 stalks of Gai Lan, and that would be good for a family of 4. We'll stir it, and that's it. 1, 2, 3. We'll add the sesame oil. And we'll plate it. So what we have here sliced pork with Chinese broccoli, will feed a family of 4. They'll enjoy it. The pork won't be gamey. It will be nice and tender. And with all my videos, I have to show you how it tastes. So, here's a bit of the pork. So tender. So delicious. With a piece of the Gai Lan too. Delicious. And cheers. Happy 4th of July. So, the pork is delicious. Look how thick it is. But yet it's a nice morsel. And you don't have to really work on it. It will just tear right off. Smells like butter. And a piece of the Gai Lan, the leaf. Notice the color. It's still emerald green. Happy 4th of July. Now, I know it's been really hot last couple of days, and I don't expect you to do any of these recipes in this weather. So I'll be showing you how to make some of the sauces that you love when you order takeout. The famous brown sauce, the famous garlic sauce used in broccoli, the General Tso sauce, the sesame sauce, and the orange sauce. Now, a couple of dishes, I've made those. Didn't really emphasize the sauces, but I will specifically focus in on those sauces so you'll know how to make it and how easy it is to make. And peanut sauce. That's delicious too. So easy. And then we have a special sauce that if you did just buy a chicken breast and steamed it, it's scallion, ginger, crushed garlic, hot oil, a little salt to flavor it up, and you can just have that, dip it into, take a piece of chicken and dip it in that sauce, and it's so delicious. A combination of ginger, scallion, and garlic together with hot oil. That oil helps infuse all that flavor together, and a tad bit of salt. Well, maybe not salt, you may want to add some light soy sauce to it. It's just wonderful. Just chicken, rice, and that sauce. You'll have 2-3 bowls. And basically, if you like this video, and obviously, as you can see, it's just a one-man operation. But I hope I make you feel comfortable that even Chef Wu does forget a couple of things. And we're talking about, right now it's 9 o'clock, so I might be a little tired, so I might have forgotten a couple of things. But if you like this video, and you'd like to see more, give me a thumbs up. I'm not just going to work on purely Chinese American dishes. I'm going to try to introduce you to other traditional dishes and introduce you to other ingredients. And obviously accessibility to products is very, very difficult, in parts of the country. But if you are able to find an Asian grocery store, or a lot of the Western supermarkets are now carrying a lot of the ingredients, go give it a shot, give it a try. Trust that Chef Wu, I'll never mislead you. So if you're interested in listening to more, watching more of my videos, subscribe to my video, right? and give me a thumbs up. And I always welcome your comments because I'm always learning from it. And I have an Etsy page, Chef Wu Can Collection.etsy.com. Obviously, it's summertime now. Everybody's barbecuing, grilling. I have this crunchy chili oil relish that you can put on anything that you love to eat, as well as an organic raw spicy honey, all homemade. Obviously, I have it in small containers because I don't want to make you guys pay for an 8-ounce container. You don't like it. So if you like 4 ounce, let me know. And then if I get a lot of people that like it, then I can increase it up to 8 ounces. So I'm always considering, your financial situations. So might as well try and see if you like it. And then my own homepage, my own website is chefwucan.com. And I'm a restaurant critic as well as a food blogger. So feel free to check up, read about new items, new vegetables, new fruits, and stay tuned. I'll always have more things to offer to you. And if you did want to change from the traditional American Chinese food, hey, this is one dish that is very healthy for you. It's done like that. 1, 2, 3, a couple of sauces, and you're done with it. So I appreciate you coming. I want you guys to have a safe 4th of July. Don't drink and drive. And basically surprise your family. They'll love it. Okay? So thank you very much. If Chef Wu can, you can too. All right? Thank you very much. Bye-bye.